All right, today we're going to be going over 5 things I hate or do not like about my Jeep Wrangler JL. Number 1, the fender gap between the body and the fender on these is a little bit excessive. So maybe I can show you better back here, but as you can see, there's a lot of dirt and grime that gets tucked down low in there, and it's difficult to clean. And normally, of course not right now when I'm recording, but there's usually 3 or 4 small pebbles wedged in there, and I have to kind of pull down on the fender a little bit to separate the gap, and then I just use a small pick to dig them out. And I've dug out some pretty big ones over time, but even without the pebbles, it's still just frustrating because let's say you want to wash it, detail it, and you make everything look perfect, but you'll have some pretty gnarly stuff hiding in there. No matter how much time you put into it, you're gonna have to spend a little more time with a really thin microfiber and just really just go over it and over it and over it to get it all out. So that's the first thing. The second thing I dislike about my Jeep JL are the frame horns that hang down here. Now, as you can see, I've actually cut mine off quite a bit. They usually hang down to probably about here. So I've cut most of them off, smoothed it as best as I can. It's not perfect, and painted over it. There are a few bumpers that actually require you to do this for clearance. I just did it because I like the look. There we go. The look is cleaner without, but they're just unnecessary. All they're for is for the factory metal skid plate. Basically bolts to them, and then there's a plastic air dam that allegedly increases your MPG, and it bolts to that. Speaking of miles per gallon, not the MPG necessarily, but the gas tank on the 2-door specifically is the third thing I hate about my JL. So I'll try to, I don't know if I can really show you the gas tank, but it's around there somewhere. It's got a skid plate on it, but the gas tank on this thing is only 17.5 gallons. So it's got a pretty limited range. For example, the 4-door JL Unlimited model has a 21.5 gallon tank, which gives you a lot more range and is just a little more convenient. Now, Motobuilt and some other companies make fuel cells that are larger. At some point, I think I would like to get a fuel cell for this thing, or maybe replace the gas tank with something, might be something from a JK or a TJ. I don't know if there's any current extended range options for the 2-door, and obviously you've got limited room to put them underneath the body, but it is something that I want to do. Next thing is going to be the wheelbase. Now, I love the short wheelbase of a 2-door. That's why I bought a 2-door, among many other reasons. However, let's open this up here. So Jeep tells you right here, the wheelbase on the 2-door is 96.8 inches. It's a good wheelbase, but I wish they had done it closer to the wheelbase of an LJ. Most Jeepers know that the LJ is one of the most desired Jeeps because it's got that sweet spot of a wheelbase. It's not too long, it's not too short. It sits at about 103.4 inches. So ideally, I'd like to stretch this wheelbase by 5. It'd put me just over 101, about 102, which would be perfect. So I might look like 2 in the front or 3 in the rear, or even if I could only do like 2 and 2 or 1 and 3, that would be really ideal. The final thing, and believe it or not, it was hard to come up with 5 things because I do really love this Jeep. But the final thing, I think this would bother most people. I'm gonna zoom out a little wider here. So, start the Jeep. I'm gonna drive forward. Now let's say you wanna back up, but you need better visibility, right? Maybe you have a lift and the angles are off. Maybe there's a spot you can't quite see with your backup camera. You know, something like that. So let's say you wanna open your door for better visibility, and then put it in reverse, it's not going to let you because of the auto park. Auto park is now engaged, so you have to shift to P, then shift to gear. So you think, okay, maybe it'll let me do it now. Go into reverse, same thing, vehicle not in park. Now, I do have a taser, and at one point they had a way to override this feature. The taser is made by ZL Automotive, and they let you disable a lot of different things, or enable, depending on what you've added. For example, you can disable the auto start stop, or if you buy taillights with parking sensors, you can enable that. You can buy the speed shifters or the paddle shifters and enable them. But anyway, they added the ability to disable the auto park, and then I think they removed it for safety reasons. Now I want to see if I can get on the firmware that had it and get it back, because it was really nice having it disabled. The only way that I know right now to disable it is, so if your door, like let's say you take your doors off to go off-roading, if your door is disconnected, you know, down here, if your door is disconnected down there, the harness isn't attached, it's not going to do that to you because it's going to think you have the door off. So obviously it's going to let you reverse. So, but right now it's something that bothers a lot of people, myself included. And I'd like to get back to not having it, because I believe I lost it the last time I updated. So, and I should probably do a more in-depth video on the taser, just because there is a lot of people, some people know about the common advantages. Like for example, I have 37s on here, so I was able to set my shift points for my tire size, so I have accurate shifting and speedometer. But there's a lot more advantages than just the obvious ones with the taser. But yeah, that being said, those are the 5 things that I quote unquote hate. I'd really just say that I dislike, except for, honestly, the small gas tank is the only one that I really hate, truthfully. But yeah, so we'll just recap. So number 1, the fender gap between the fenders and the body. Number 2, those hideous frame horns that hang down too low. Number 3, the gas tank. Number 4, the wheelbase just being a few inches too short. And number 5, the auto park. So after I just finished recording, I wanted to go through my taser settings and see if the auto park was there. And good news, I was mistaken. It is still there and it works. So I went through. This will take a second. These are some of the live settings. Oh, of course I passed it. Sorry guys. But anyway, so while you're waiting, also sorry for the wiggle. I'm like holding my gimbal between my legs and doing this. Okay, so live settings, hit enter, scroll through, brake hold, home link extension, in motion, turn cam, kill honk, hood alarm. This is another nice feature. So if someone opens your hood while the vehicle is locked, it will blast the alarm, and it is so loud, like when you're standing right in front of it with those 2 huge horns from the factory. It's like deafening. But anyway, set pin, auto park kill. This was set to off. I just turned it on. So now check it out. So I'm gonna open my door. Door's open. Put it in reverse. As you can see, it is in reverse. Now it's still telling me up here. It's still telling me up here the vehicle's not in park. However, it's letting me back up. It's letting me back up. So this is just excellent. So yeah, if you hate the auto park as much as I do, you definitely want to get a taser. And again, I'll do a taser video, but I just wanted to throw this in. Now, regardless of the fact that I fixed it, I still hate the auto park feature just as a factory feature. It's on a lot of vehicles now, and I understand it's for safety regulation, but it really is a large inconvenience to many folks. Anyway, catch you on the next one. Take care.